Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday night, aka Hump Day. You're beyond the Origins Infinity Project. So guess what, Mike. Sorry, cannot resist that one. As long as
Mike,
that
Mike, Mike,
commercial
Mike.
exists, Mike, you're really gonna be stuck.
I know. It's all good.
Hey,
Well, anyway,
Mike,
I'm
do you
glad.
know what day it is, Mike? Do
It's
you know what
Wednesday,
day
my
it
dude.
is?
It's Wednesday, my dude.
mm-hmm. Or as that lady would say, Hump Day. All right. So,
Woohoo! Hump day!
yeah. So anyway, it is Wednesday.
Hey,
That means it's
Maddie.
time for. There's Maddie. It's time for Warzone Wednesday. We're gonna have stories that'll make you laugh, think, cry, get upset, and we'll probably at least fire off at least one Supernova Rant Rocket tonight.
Yeah, it's been a while since we blew something up.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
I'll have to see if I can rig up a battery detonating mechanism for the next time one of them swells up.
Let's hope it
Well,
doesn't happen too soon.
Yeah.
I don't blame Frodo for not setting off the rocket.
Well, here's the thing. He didn't have the materials to do it safely.
Mm-hmm.
I could have theoretically rigged one up out of I have a thick stick, uh, long enough paving or wall building block, and some rope. Don't know how well it would have worked, but it would have done something better. Would have let us get to minimum safe distance.
the problem
Yeah.
was Sarah was really scared of that thing going up too.
Kind of
The battery. Boom.
All right, let's finish the introduction. Let's finish the introduction,
All
Shirley.
right.
Well, I haven't even done the intros yet, so here we go. I'm your host for tonight. I am Oddball Extreme. To my immediate left, we have our master and creator, Frodo. Hello, Frodo.
He's saying peace among worlds.
Anyway, to my immediate right, we have Joker and Oracle. Hello, Mike and Ash.
Good evening, everyone. And Ash is on the floor having ramen and watching YouTube. But
Okay.
she says hello.
Very nice.
Give me liberty or give me ramen. I'm kidding.
I had ramen for lunch.
Yeah. To my bottom left, we have a resident B button, John. Hello, John.
Hey, Shirley.
And
It's
finally,
actually
Peace among worlds, everybody.
yep.
it's not give me liberty or give me ramen. It's give me liberty or give me my mommy's boobies.
Twitch, please be gentle with us.
Yes,
Oh!
please.
I
Oh, well,
was
hold it,
waiting-
Janet. Wait, one more. I'm still gonna get you in there. So my bottom right, we have a resident star child, Janet. Hello, Janet.
Hello. I was playing Among Us this morning with a group. You know what one of the characters were that was in the room with me?
What?
Tiddie.
Kitty?
Nice.
Titty.
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 Oh.
Well-
Instead of Titty, it's
Okay.
Tiddie. But
Here's the thing, okay? I'm just gonna say this. It wasn't meant to be disrespectful, but like my wife right now,
The cat's on my chest.
a cat is on her boobs. The cat,
and probably
the
Sure.
cat,
And Maddie's like,
Cat has her cat check by sitting on my boob.
and Maddie's probably like,
like
Sarah,
it.
you may need to do a rant rocket about him one of these days.
Oh,
Hi, Maddie.
speaking of contented people, I was watching Court Cam before I finished up the dishes to come in here, and this guy was trying to give a deposition, and the people were in the other room listening over a mic system,
uh-huh.
and you could hear groaning in the background
Oh,
through
no.
the mic system.
Nice.
And the guy giving the deposition, he says, "Why don't we take a little break and see if you can break up the party?" It was during a court deposition, though. That was a little rude, people.
Yeah.
it sounds like your perfect idea of fun, Jan.
I think he's answering the vibration.
I'm looking up good vibrations.
Vibrations. Giving
Such
me
a
Well, here's
good
the thing.
excitation.
vibration.
My wife is sitting on her vibrating chair,
Hmm.
and it going buzz, 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 buzz.
Yeah.
So Maddie's like
Purr,
just
purr, purr, purr.
is going purr, 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 purr back at the buzz, 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 buzz.
Hmm.
Well, that cat knows what he likes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
let's get
he
this.
loves women's boobs.
I'm talking about the chair vibration, jerk.
Definitely a
Funny thing is, I'm not even kidding.
Well,
If you look back
okay.
a
Frodo, you're starting to
few
garble.
years in
Yeah,
my
you're in garble mode.
Facebook,
You're garbling, Frodo. You're garbling. You're garbling.
you'll see a picture of us on the bed. Bit better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
Yeah.
improved.
you you were
There you
garbling
go.
real
I
bad
think you were
earlier.
going
Okay. It
like
was
that.
probably because I was looking at my Discord really quick.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, if you look back at my pictures on Facebook, you'll find a picture of me and my wife. Well, we're not visible, but we have a tablet up watching the women's pay-per-view called Evolution, and my cat is just sitting there right between my legs
Hmm.
watching the women's boobies going bling bling bling
Boingy,
bling
Mm.
boingy,
bling
boingy,
bling
boingy,
bling
boingy,
bling.
boingy,
Now,
boingy.
what show was this on pay per view?
It was called WWE's Evolution
Okay,
pay-per-view.
I get it now.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought you were watching something on pay per view by Nat Geo or something like that.
Although I know what you're talking about, I have seen something like that on Nat Geo. So
They do give you
The
a warning.
Shalmikadboo tribe is known for having slightly different standards of decency than are found in the Western world.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the National Geographic used to give you a, or was it something on Travel Channel? Warning: this program depicts customs of indigenous people that may not be appropriate for all ages.
Yeah.
Viewer discretion is advised, or something like that.
Hmm.
And you know what
Yeah.
I say to that? If
What?
you can't handle seeing a couple women bare chested because that's how they do things in their society, then maybe you should be watching Nat Geo.
Hmm.
This was on
You
the
know
Travel
what?
Channel. This particular one was on the Travel Channel. But yes, I do agree with you, Frodo.
I
Hmm.
tell you guys, I'm getting tired of the controversy about this. I really wish, and I may have to be the one to do this, somebody would introduce some legislation to Congress repealing whatever, at a federal level, whatever statutes make a woman's breasts private under general standards of decency. Because this is ridiculous.
It really
We
is.
got
Here's the
fights
thing.
about breastfeeding. We got all this crap going on with censorship.
Hmm.
And it's just,
I agree
why
with
would
you
you censor them in the
100%.
first place?
Here's the thing. And
Boobs have been around for since the beginning of time.
Since
Yes,
Eve.
so of other private parts.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, Frodo.
what I was going to say is I agree wholeheartedly with John. If you as a human being can't understand the idea that, breasts originally had one or two purposes. One main purpose, feed and nourish young.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Second purpose, and this is arguable about if it is a purpose, but our male mammalian brains were programmed this way, so it is a purpose in many ways.
To attract a mate.
Well, no, it's not just to attract a mate, Janet. It's a signal to the opposite gender, to the opposite sex, male, in this case, a male, that the person that you're looking at has a good chance of being able to nourish and sustain a child. So
Exactly.
for men, we're programmed that large boobs equals good parent equals furtherance of our genes, furtherance of our genes equals
Good.
yes, very very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to be disgusting. I'm not trying to be
You're being
inappropriate. I'm
You're
not
being
trying to.
scientific, dude. Biologists do the same thing.
Well, and Mythbusters actually proved this. If you remember when Carrie Byron was on Mythbusters, John,
Uh huh.
she had that experiment that they did as a barista where once she had her natural boob size, which was quite small to be honest, the next day she had a little bit bigger. Yeah, she's just a little bit bigger. And then the next day she was a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you looked at the tip jar each of those days, the tips went up each breast size that went up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Sajo's
Yeah.
in the chat room. Hey,
Hey, Sajo.
Hello.
Sajo.
Hi, Saj.
But yeah,
But you
I.
see,
Yeah, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
but
Then I'd probably may be rich off of mine.
but
Uh, hopefully.
but I'm not trying to be disturbing or anything like that or upset Western sensitivities.
Oh, you missed it. He was getting on his back legs.
But it's a real thing, and people don't realize it until they actually pay attention to it.
Right.
Yeah. I just I just know this. I had heard that a breast was an erogenous zone, and I think that's potentially contestable. The fact is,
Some women it
I'm
is, some women is isn't.
Mm-hmm.
the fact of the matter is, it frankly to me makes no sense because really the only thing that's declared private is the nipples. Okay,
Exactly.
that's what you got to censor,
Mm-hmm.
and to
That's
me
why
that just doesn't
strippers.
make
That's why
sense.
strippers wear the little frilly
Yes,
things on the nipples.
yes, I know, Janet.
Not
Oh,
Out of one
necessarily
of her
any, not
reasons.
necessarily all strippers, but it all depends on where you live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
and the fact is, we're getting in fights about this, and I just think it's not worth it.
I agree.
It's not. It's
I
not
feel
worth a
like
fuck.
if I were to see a woman breastfeeding her child in public, I'm just gonna walk by because it's like, here's the thing: they can't control a time
Yeah,
for when the baby gets hungry.
exactly.
Well, you want to know something? I saw a woman breastfeeding her baby in a restaurant, but you know what?
What?
Breastfeeding a baby in public is one thing. You get the people who just flop it out at the dinner table. The lady I saw had covered up her baby and was holding it like this, had a
Mm-hmm.
cover over it like this,
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh.
and she was breastfeeding.
Yeah.
She was being discreet about
That's
it.
fine.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
That's okay.
Exactly.
I mean, if
let
she
me
chose,
let
she
me
probably chose it. So go ahead.
let me counter you. Okay, if it's a choice matter, fine. Okay, I don't have a problem if it's personal choice, but mandating that leads a very poor example, and I'll explain to you why I think this is. Let's say,
Yeah.
John, I'm just gonna throw me, you, Mike, Ash, and Sarah under the
All
bus
right.
for a minute.
Oh,
So I apologize for this on behalf of everyone, but this is a point that I want to make, throwing all of us in Cedar Rapids under the bus. And we're gonna get ran over a few times.
I heard that.
Let me. Yeah, I heard it too. Trust me. Let me ask you guys this. Let's say we're at
All right.
TikTok. Okay, we're all hanging out at TikTok, and some woman doesn't have a blanket, so as to cover like some people would see fit to do. But her baby decides that, holy shit, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
cry.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask y'all this. how offended would you be if that woman took one bra cup, removed it, and started feeding the
If
baby?
I
it,
don't think I would be,
I,
I
especially
wouldn't be
if it
offended,
silenced the
honestly. Like,
crying.
it's giving
I'd
a
be more
I wouldn't
snack.
annoyed
either.
by the. I would be more annoyed by the kids crying.
Me too.
And
Hmm.
Sarah has this up. So my point being this: if you as a person, you as a human being are allowed at a restaurant to eat however you see fit,
Hmm.
okay? And I've seen some people at some restaurants
Some
eating the
buffet
most
places.
disgusting. Well, it's not just that. It's they've eaten in some of the most disgusting, asinine ways
I've seen
possible.
stuff like that too.
You know,
Hmm.
okay? Why is it that we're disputing the idea that a child who doesn't have the ability to consume solid food right now
Hmm.
has the same rights as every single one of us to eat however we see fit in a
Hmm.
restaurant that their parents are paying for?
Hmm.
Well, the sad truth is because of a law describing which parts of the parents' bodies are considered presentable.
Hmm.
Which is stupid. Which is
I
downright
agree.
stupid.
And that's why we need to start working on legislation to see if we can get those decency standards changed so that this doesn't go
Well, let's take another example. Let's go overseas to Britain
on.
or to Japan.
France, even.
Do they France, yeah. Do they have a problem with a woman's breast? No. You know why? Because as far as they're concerned, it's just another part of the human body.
Hmm.
It's just
Exactly.
like me right now showing my top half off because I'm a man and I have that legal right to do so.
Yeah.
And yet, if women is forbidden to, exactly. Here's my thing, and this is my viewpoint, and this is just my opinion here.
Hmm.
So I apologize if this opinion offends anyone,
Hmm.
but it's basically the main reason this happened is because a bunch of men in Congress wanted to be able to show that, oh, we have more power over the woman's body than the
Hmm.
woman has over their own body. And that's fucking stupid.
I'm not sure that's true, Frodo. The idea of hiding. Actually, the fact is, the idea of a woman hiding her breasts is as old as
Adam and Eve.
Greek. No, it's as old as Greco Roman times.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Janet. I don't know of biblical evidence that a woman's breasts were considered private. But by the time you got to the Greek and the Roman empires, see, the Greeks valued modesty. That's why their statues of naked men aren't particularly well endowed. The idea was you weren't supposed to show that stuff off or you were a barbarian. And similarly, they would portray women as being shy. And
Damsels in distress type of deal, huh?
yeah, and the thing of it is, one of the things they would do was cover their breasts.
And honestly, I'm going to say this without being disrespectful toward anyone else's opinions, but as far as I'm concerned, how
Shirley,
I see it,
I got something to say to Shirley when you're done.
Go ahead.
as far as I'm concerned right now, I think that I agree with John. The standards that have been set forth due to whatever reasoning, it doesn't fucking matter what the reasoning is. It just needs to be abolished because who gives a shit?
Yeah, well, I'll
I
Not
mean,
tell you.
me.
seriously.
Yeah, well, that kind of leads
Uh,
towards my Supernova Rant Rocket. But Janet, you go ahead first.
well, you remember when we went to the Caesar's Palace when we were in Las Vegas?
Yeah, we found
Remember,
those nude
remember the
statues.
remember the artwork that was around the thing?
Hmm.
They were replicas
Hmm.
of actual Greek statues.
Yeah.
And let's just say the men's private parts were not hid,
No.
whereas the women were kind of like
Mm-hmm.
They were shy,
Yeah.
like that. And the men showed their testicles and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
and they probably weren't that well endowed either.
Right.
Well, it's been a long time since I've been there, so.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, that kind of leads towards my Supernova Rant Rocket for tonight because,
Take it
um,
away.
yeah, because frankly, let's just say the state of Georgia is definitely heading the wrong direction. Hang on, here's the Rant Rocket.
Everybody, nod your heads because we're at
Everybody stand your head. One.
There
What do
is
you
one
got?
less thing for everyone.
What's that?
Cover your head, everybody.
All right, well, this is the article that got my attention because last week
Can you
Georgia
hear it?
decided to ban anyone from giving out food and water at while people were waiting to vote.
and
What was the
and the
What?
rationale?
I'll I'll tell you in a
What
minute.
rationale?
Can you share the
What
article so we can
Yeah,
see it?
rationale?
got it.
Ah, thank you.
And
Okay.
let me put it in
Here, you're
Discord as
gonna.
well. Hold on.
All right.
Come on, thank you. Okay.
here's the thing. The rationale is that I've heard is supposedly they don't want uh other people like a person on the left,
Mhm.
so a blue supporter, to
Yeah.
influence them because giving water is influencing the vote.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Let me get to that.
Okay. Now, this was back on Friday. But
Okay, go
anyway,
for it.
here's what's going on. Georgia's new sweeping elections
Okay.
law has a number
Got it.
of controversial provisions that will restrict access to voting, but one in particular has some people shaking their heads. Under the bill signed into law Thursday night by Republican Governor Brian Kemp, it's now illegal to hand out food or water to people standing in line to vote.
It
Uh,
doesn't specify. The law does not specify what. It just says all food and drinks are illegal to hand out.
hmm Let's see. No person shall solicit votes in any manner or by any means or method, nor shall any person distribute or display any campaign material, nor shall any person give, offer to give, or to participate in the giving of any money or gifts, including but not limited to food and drink, to an elector. The new law states. Now,
okay, what are they going to do if a person has been standing in line for 2 or 3 hours? It's broiling hot outside. It's humid as hell. What are they going to do? Let that person get dehydrated and fall out?
Yes,
hmm
Um,
yeah,
I'd be a little surprised if it got that way in November, even in Georgia, though you guys know the
But
climate better than I do.
right. I mean, depending on the
I'm
situation, it can be comfortable, it can be very cold, or it can be very hot. There's just no way of knowing.
especially with
Yeah.
climate change.
Right. Well, anyway, the law applies within 150 feet of a polling place or within 25 feet of any voter at a polling place. Violators are guilty of a misdemeanor, but some observers see the provision as an attempt to curb voting by urban voters and people of color who lean Democratic and whose precincts often have long waits to cast ballots. One influential black pastor says he thinks the new law is unreasonable and that his church will use it to fire up voters. We will make a movement out of that, said the Reverend Tim McDonald, senior pastor of First Iconium Baptist Church in Atlanta. I like that name, Iconium. You know something is wrong when you can't give grandma a bottle of water and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Excuse me, sorry. McDonald
yep.
told CNN he is already planning to test the law with some civil disobedience. He said that at a future election, his church will dare the police to arrest someone giving water to an elderly person waiting to vote. Attorney Walter Schaub, former director of the U.S. Office of Government Ethics, also has criticized the measure as an attempt to target voters of color. Georgia's bill would make it a crime to give free food or water to voters standing in line for hours and hours. But we know who these politicians force to stand in line all day long, Schaub said earlier this month on Twitter. I never once stood in line for even 5 minutes where I get to vote. This racism is thorough. Republicans have defended the measure, dubbed Election Integrity Act of 2021, saying it's required to boost confidence in voting after last year's election. Kemp said the law will ensure elections in Georgia are secure, fair, and accessible. Yeah, right,
Oh,
Sean.
frack. I'm reading a little bit further down the article.
Uh huh.
Georgia's bill is part of a broad effort by GOP led legislators legislatures across the country to pass restrictive voting measures in battleground states such as Arizona, Michigan, and Florida.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Georgia, long seen as a politically red state, turned blue in this past elections. President Joe Biden and two Democratic senators won narrow victories, boosted partly by heavy turnout among black voters. I won't read that next one because Janet already read it. Anyway, Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, a Republican, vowed last December, a week before the state's runoff election, that the state would crack down on line warming or handing gifts to voters in line as a way to inappropriately influence voters in the
Be right
crucial
back.
final moments before they cast their ballots. Seriously?
Well, have they had a problem with that?
Apparently
There's
Republicans have.
apparently we're okay. Not to diss you, John. Okay,
All right.
but I'm coming at this from a neutral standpoint, and I'm gonna make it clear right now. Yes, I lean left, but I'm trying to come at this right down the middle.
Hmm.
Okay, what I can see from the right side is that, well, what if someone does get influenced by the gift of water? Okay, there was zero, absolutely zero evidence of voter fraud last election.
Hmm.
Let's just put that right out there right now. No
Yeah, but
evidence.
there's certain
I'm not
members
sure
of the
that's
party.
true, but
Every test that's been done, every examination of the results, everything, John, that has been done has shown no evidence. Okay?
oh,
But let's use that as a basis, okay? Let's not argue the semantics here. Let's just use that as a basis for discussion. All right?
Okay.
Assuming there is no evidence of voter fraud in the 2020 election. Okay? What this is, by the view of many, myself partially included, although I can understand somewhat what they're coming at, um, is an attempt at suppression. And this is something that has been attempted many times over the years in our country.
Okay, now let me ask this question. Okay. Um let's just say no, I know I'm not a Georgia voter. I'm in Alabama, so this doesn't really apply to me, but here's would be my question if I could. If I were to bring my own water, nobody gave it to me in any way, shape, or form, is that still illegal?
I think you'd have
no.
to prove. I think you'd have to prove beyond the reasonable doubt that it is yours.
Bring it
But
in a
no.
proper water bottle and a lunchbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, a cooler. That would
Yeah.
work. So then they can't say is that yours? Yeah, it's mine. I brought it myself.
This is just a
I'm
pile of
just,
bullshit,
Yeah.
bullshit, and more
yes.
bullshit.
Mhm.
But here's
I'll
the thing.
just, yeah.
Here's the thing with what I was saying about voter suppression just a bit ago. Okay. Can we all agree right now that the right to vote should never be abridged unless you have extenuating circumstances like you're a felon that says you cannot have your rights?
Mhm.
Can we all agree that that right should not be abridged?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
let me ask you
Honestly,
this.
not.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I think I should hear yours first, but uh, go ahead and say your piece first. Mine may be on a slightly different subject.
Well, and that's fine. Um, let's just say that you're legally allowed to vote because, well, whatever, you're not a felon, you've never been a felon, or you're a felon whose rights have been given back because you've paid your dues to society. Whatever the case is, it doesn't matter. Let's just hypothetically say that your state wants to make it, let's just say Iowa, for all three of us that live in Iowa, want to make it so that uh, we, us five that are on the show that are, let's just be honest, Caucasian Iowans,
Hmm.
have a harder time voting because, well, we can't tell you guys apart.
Oh, brother.
That's just an example, okay?
Okay.
It's a gross over exaggerated example, but that's the purpose of this is a
Okay.
gross over exaggerated example.
Yeah.
Okay? Let me just ask you all of us here.
Hmm.
Michael first. What would you do in that situation? You
Yeah,
were you were told you can't vote because we can't tell you guys apart.
I'd be like, okay, fuck you, and just walk away.
John,
I'd ask why they couldn't to show my ID, and
because y'all look alike.
Hmm.
See,
probably try to
here's my
find the
problem.
police and
I
find
shouldn't have
out.
to prove myself. I shouldn't have to prove who I am.
You
It's
already
it's
do. That's why they have you bring your license and whatnot. You're supposed to show
Yeah,
that
but
you
again,
are.
if they go to that extreme like that,
I mean,
uh-uh,
I know when
it's
I'll now me
bullshit.
being a volunteer myself at a polling station back in November. Basically, what we had people do was they'd take out their driver's license. We had a little scanner
Uh huh.
that would give us their name and address and all, and then if they see it, all they have to do is take the little stylus, sign it, and be done. They would get a little receipt, take the next table, and then take the next person, and get the receipt. I mean the ballot to vote.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Basically, the same thing happened to me.
Hmm.
Sarah has a smart aleck way of saying it, so I'm gonna hand her the mic for a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. One sec. Pause my music.
Waiting, waiting.
Okay, for those of you that are over here on Saturday last week, you'll get it. I'd first give them a color eye chart.
Oh.
Oh,
I'd go Walter on them.
Uh
Like,
Oh, okay.
I'd basically
Like,
go,
wait.
bullshit. It's like, yeah, if we all look alike, I'm a monkey's uncle.
oh. but 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 in all
Let
honesty, I feel like this is just getting ridiculous. They're
let me
saying, "Oh
just
no,
put
we don't want it.
this.
We're not going to give you water." Blah blah. Now, here's something you might want to know. Like people in, I think a lawyer has said, if you get arrested, I'll represent you for free. I think people from Michigan have said, we'll come down and give water. We'll risk getting arrested.
Well, let's
Okay.
just put it this way, okay? As a statement, okay? For me, if someone said that to me, I'd be like, first off, who the fuck are you to tell me I can't vote? And second off, are you fucking blind? Or actually, more correct, are you blinder than I am? There you
Okay, can I make a can I okay
go.
to expand to what I was saying? Yes, I do have to show my ID, but do they look at the picture at the ID? They look at your address, and that's just about it. Reason why I say this, my current ID, my picture has not changed since 2011. I've had that same picture since then. So
Hmm.
saying that, oh, they can't tell me apart from someone else, that's shitty.
Hmm.
What about
Um.
you, Ash?
She's reading Fruits Basket.
Oh.
It,
She's just
oh, if
chilling.
she's reading Fruits Basket, how come she's not reading Animorphs? I gave her the whole series.
Because I let her read the manga because I have physical copies.
I'm just giving you crap.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But no, my point being is this, okay? Now, this is an opinion statement. Me and John are probably not going to agree on this, and that's fine. That's what I like about the show is that we can disagree and still respect one another. So,
Mm-hmm.
John, be ready to disagree because I guarantee you're going to disagree on this. Okay? Well, almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
What I see this as for Georgia is nothing more or less than the conceited attempts by the Georgia legislature to try and disparage voters who vote against the Republican majority in that House and Senate of that state.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it that way at all. The fact is, all this measure says is you're not allowed to think of it like this, Frodo. Doctors of various sorts aren't allowed to receive gifts from their patients because, despite the reasons the patients want to give them, typically gratitude, because it can look like they're being bribed.
Mm-hmm.
What this legislation says is if you look at it, you're not allowed to go around giving things to voters that can be construed as um,
Gifts.
uh, yeah, gifts. Now, I'll tell you this in light of the wording of the legislation. If you set up a free water and snacks stand uh, 150 plus feet away from a polling place and just let people take it as they go, then you're within the bounds of the law.
But did
But
you notice it also said and within 5 feet of.
okay, Frodo, the 25 feet, yes. What that means is that what you're not allowed to do is to put your wares, your free water and free food in a cart, then to go over to uh, the line and to hand them out. You are allowed to have a stationary stand based on the wording,
Mm-hmm.
and as long as you set it up more than 150 feet from the polling place,
Oh,
And
okay.
don't
then if
try
you
and
want to
cry, because
set
if
it up
anyone should be
in a higher
crying, it
traffic
should be
area,
me.
you can. And furthermore, if instead of giving it away for free, you sell it at a price gouging price, you can say, I'm not giving it as a gift, I'm selling it.
Hmm.
I get where you're coming from, John. I really do. But, and this is the thing that I want to make a mention of, okay? In most of the districts in Georgia where it was a pretty strong red majority, okay? And I'm saying red as in
Right, I
political
understand.
affiliation, okay? The waiting times for someone to vote was around 6 minutes,
Yeah.
okay? Now, for a predominantly blue region, which also corresponds to predominantly African American districts. These both correspond to different color districts for skin color, too, which is why we have a problem with the whole racism thing, but let's not get into that today. Okay?
I've got a question.
But this.
Would a
Can I
person.
finish, Jan?
Jan, let him finish, please.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I don't lose my thought, okay?
Okay.
The average wait time for a person in a blue district, and like I said, tends to be African American, just to point it out, is at least 55 minutes. And many people in those districts were waiting for 11 hours to vote. Hours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I've got a question, Frodo. Are they going
So,
to fine you for taking water and a bit of, say, a candy bar or something in for your diabetic mother?
Yeah, that's what they're saying essentially. But the point that I'm
Wait,
trying to make,
hold
John,
on, I'm confused here. When I looked at what was quoted in the article, it said, "No person shall solicit votes in any manner or by any means or method, nor shall any person distribute or display any campaign material, nor shall any person give, offer to give, or participate in the giving of any money or gifts, including but not limited to food and drink, to an elector, and it applies within 150 feet of a polling place or within 25 feet of any voter at a polling place."
okay, yes, you're correct. But let me put it this way, John.
I'm trying to understand what Janet said. Janet, there's no law
Okay.
I'll be
against
right
bringing
back.
your own
No,
stuff.
no, no. You have your diabetic mother with you. She suffers low blood sugar. You pull a candy bar out of your purse or whatever, and you give it to the diabetic mother. Okay. Can they get you for giving the candy to the mother?
Okay,
You go up to you and say, "Oh, you
if
gave her a candy bar. You're being fined." That's what I'm trying to say.
well, let's look
Well,
at the wording of the law then.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like this would be my suggestion. Bring your own food and water if you can. Like put in a cooler. That way they'll know it's like maybe the first time it's like, oh, okay, it's your own food. Because what I try to do is
um,
I'll try to do everything I
I
can
don't
like
know, Janet.
before I you know go anywhere. Like if I'm gonna go vote, if I realize I'm gonna wait for a little while, it's like, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna eat something at home, then I'm gonna grab my bottle of water and take it with me.
Exactly.
That's all fine and dandy, Shirley.
Mhm.
Yeah, take your damn bottle of water with you when you go.
Mhm.
I'm fine with that.
I'm just
However,
wondering if the law's like that. The law's gonna arrest me for bringing my own water.
It won't. Guys,
that's
I need to say something here.
Okay.
Man,
While I might be mistaken about the actual wording of this law,
Mhm.
the way it's written in the article most likely means that as long as it doesn't look like something that was handed out to you,
Mhm.
they can't touch you. That as long as you're not doing it out of, say, a roving cart, like some vendors do, they can't touch you.
Mhm.
Which means that although you can't go straight up to an elector waiting just outside a polling place, you can set up a stand within outside the proper radius,
Which is 150
and
feet.
yeah, and if you set it up in the area that people are most likely going to use to get to the polling place, set it up where it needs to be.
Mhm.
But the thing of it is, I don't think if this is going to be enforced that way, the problem is not the law. The problem is the people enforcing it. That's
Mhm.
what you need to look at.
Yeah.
and
yeah,
that's
There,
accurate. That's
Mhm.
accurate.
you
But
get
I just
somebody
want
who's full of themselves.
Yeah.
I just want to point out though, John, I wasn't kidding when I gave that statistic, okay? On average, a person who is a part of a predominantly red slash Caucasian area in
yeah,
Georgia has a 6 minute wait time. In general, someone who is in a predominantly blue slash African American area in
mm,
Georgia, Atlanta being a great example of
yeah,
this, has on average a 56-minute wait time, with some people having been reported last year during the 2020
yeah.
election as having been standing in line waiting to vote for 11 hours. Now, let me ask you this, okay?
All right.
Where's the fairness in having a person stand possibly in extreme heat, possibly not. I don't know for sure. I'm not judging based on weather here,
Mm-hmm.
but let's just for argument's sake say mm, 80-degree weather
Mm.
with a good 40-50% relative humidity. So comfortable, but only if you're out for like an hour, maybe two.
Yeah.
Okay? Where's the fairness at in telling that person that's trying to vote, trying to exercise their rights, that because they're standing out in the heat,
Mm-hmm.
getting warm and being, sweating, that because you've been standing there for 2 hours, you're still not allowed to have water.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Frodo, you are
I'm
allowed to
just
have water. You just can't. Frodo, I'm not
I
saying it's fair or not. When you talk about why they're standing out, talk about them standing out there for 11 hours, my thought is, why are you standing there? How many polling places? It sounds to me like there's a lack of polling places.
and that
That
is true. That is
Mm-hmm.
exactly accurate because a lot of, and like I said before, don't take offense to this, but a lot of people on the right that live in Georgia purposely reduce the number of polling places available
Mm-hmm.
for Democratic leaning districts so as to prevent Democratic voters from getting out into the polls.
okay.
Assholes.
Then the problem then, if that's the case, Frodo, the problem isn't this law. The problem is what's being done with the polling places and ultimately what needs to be looked at. Like I said, there are some relatively simple ways to skirt this law
Mm-hmm.
Oh
as long
yeah,
as you know what you're
Yeah.
doing.
and
Yeah.
I'm
Like
not
me
disagreeing with you.
take my own bottle of water with me.
And I'm
Exactly.
not disagreeing with you at all, John. That's the
Okay.
thing. That's where that's where I like this show. We can debate and we can discuss, but we don't get angry at each other, and I love it. So
Yeah.
let me just say it like this. Let's say you forgot to bring your own bottle of water. Let's say you don't have room in your bag for a bottle of water. Let's say because your daycare closed down close to your house, you have to bring a writhing little toddler with you to vote, and you have their diaper bag that you deal with, but that diaper bag has room for the kids' stuff and nothing for your own. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't have any water for yourself, but you have the means to make their formula or whatever is necessary. I'm just throwing what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, I appreciate what you're trying to do. The thing of it is, we can't prepare for any what ifs because the limits of our what ifs are going to be the limits of our imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Exactly. But I'm just trying to point out that there are situations that can happen that would make it neon impossible for that law to be followed to the letter that it is trying to be made to.
yeah. Well, like I said, the real problem here is obviously the number of polling places, and that's what we're going to have to try to deal with first. Sorry, guys. I keep thinking it's War Room Wednesday, not War Zone Wednesday. You know what I mean?
Oh hell, we could
It's all
change the war
good.
room.
You're good, man.
War
All
room in
right.
the war zone. Yeah, that'd work.
All right, generals. Here's the fact of the matter. They set up this law so that the only way you can distribute water is by placing sentries here, 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 and possibly here. Anybody object to a 150-foot radius?
No.
Awesome. Move your men, move all hands out, and I will see you guys at lunch.
Yeah, but
But, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just that Laws like this, if viewed in the right in the right light, and okay, let's view them in both on both sides of the aisle. Okay, so both
Yep. Alright, turn my
left
camera off for
and
just a second.
Good.
let's view it from both the left and the right. Okay, from
Yeah.
the right, it's a way to prevent possibility of
Voter fraud.
manipulation of the voters.
Yeah.
Okay, from the left, the view would be something a little different. That
It's a way to make voters uncomfortable enough that they abandon trying to wait for an opportunity to vote.
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, like I said, um,
Honestly, in my opinion, here's how I think it should be in every district in America. Okay, and I'm talking serious business here. Okay, every voting district in America should be required to have at minimum two legit polling places that you can go to on election day. Here in
yeah,
Cedar Rapids, we only have one per per
locality.
precinct per precinct.
Okay.
Okay, I think that should be increased to two, and preferably on opposite sides of the district. There are enough churches. You can get it set up in every single city in the country. I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, in my opinion, minimum of two, more is better. I think that nationwide, that the line that you make for voting, you should have at least something there, because these people usually, voters will take their lunch hours from work to vote.
Yeah.
So
Frodo, the thought then occurs to me,
have some granola bars sitting around that are provided by the city or the county.
and located in the polling place.
Yeah,
That way you're not going around. See, what they're worried about, Frodo, like I said, is people acting like ice cream vendors, essentially, potentially handing
Two
out
granola bars,
uh,
50 cents here.
free with a free with a Democratic state pamphlet, that kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, and, and,
Yeah.
and I agree. That should not be. When you're in a voting place, you should be non subject to any voting materials. So,
Yeah.
no, no one wearing exclusively blue or red shirts, you know, that are working there, so that you can't have kind of like what Shirley went through.
Mhm.
She couldn't wear a red or a blue shirt. She wore a purple shirt from what I remember last election.
Mm.
That was fine. But my point being, there should, in every state in the union, every voter should have a choice of at least two places to go vote, and every place should have. And I mean, you could get freaking a 20 pack of freaking uh, Quaker Oats granola bars from the store for what, 5, $6?
Yeah.
You know, getting a half dozen of those, a dozen of those. That's not that hard. That's not that hard. And a bottle of water, a buck, maybe. That's stuff that would be easily budgeted for in a county auditor. You know.
I understand, man. I understand. Uh,
Sorry, just some cold water.
good on
but
you.
but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I get it perfectly. I
Ouch.
What's the matter, Janet?
I'm looking at the prices of these t-shirts on Custom Ink. One t-shirt, $24.95 each.
So let's get into that subject now. Shirley, are you there?
I'm here.
Are you able to get on camera again?
Yeah, give me a second. Okay, sorry about that.
What was going on?
Had a itch
Oh.
somewhere.
It was in an embarrassing place, huh?
Yes, that's why I was like,
Okay, that's perfectly understandable. So here's something that we've been thinking about. Well, we actually just got the information today,
mhm,
but I want to know what our fans that listen every day think of this idea. We may try and start selling show based t shirts for BTA.
mhm.
Let me ask y'all, if you were able to purchase a shirt having something to do with Beyond the Airwaves, would you?
Mm,
I
And
would.
if you
Hell yeah.
would,
yeah.
Potentially.
Mhm.
and if you would you be willing to spend $30?
Uh, I might if I were getting it as a gift for somebody else.
You were
For
what?
myself,
If I were getting it as a gift for somebody else, Jen,
How about $20?
$20 more likely.
Okay, so let's ask the rest of the group in the chat. Would you pay $20 for a BTA branded T-shirt?
I would.
For a custom T-shirt, yes. Although I've bought T-shirts for $7 or $8, but that would be going too cheap for our brand.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
point being is if we were to sell T-shirts, whatever extra would be available would be made for our show. We would be using it for the show and whatever else we needed to do.
Mhm. Oh,
So,
before we're going, I forgot to mention JJ's been in the chat too. So, hey JJ.
Hi,
Hey, Jade.
JJ. Sorry.
oh,
Mm,
I figured she was there. That's why I was presenting the question to the chat.
mhm.
But my question is, would you wear it?
Yeah, I would.
I would.
I would.
Hell yeah.
I'd wear
Oh
it around
yeah.
the neighborhood, and people ask me what BTA is. I'd tell them.
Mhm.
That'd be a good word of mouth promotion.
Hey, I'll tell you who would be another way to promote it. LaShawn's shop.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you could get permission from her.
I can ask her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
That'd be
Well,
LaShawn
really
that,
on
good.
yesterday?
No, she
No, she
wasn't. I
no, he
think
wasn't.
something could have come up. Who knows? I'm not gonna worry about it because
Or the
she's
heads off, you guys. We'll
Fly
talk.
first.
Hey, we're going to play the new map tomorrow.
Friday.
Friday.
Oh, that's right.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Crap, tomorrow's only Thursday. Damn it.
That's
Oh,
right.
and don't
yesterday Jack
forget,
thought Jack thought today was Thursday. He
Random.
said, "You're on your own for
nice.
dinner." I go, "I'm gonna go play cards." I go, "On Wednesday?" That's when he realized it was Wednesday and not Thursday.
Oh, I'll never forget this.
God,
Now,
listen.
uh-huh.
I'm giving the guy a break
Oh,
because
no.
of all the
All the
shit he's been going through lately.
yeah. Mhm. That's fine. But anyway,
Okay,
I got this quick little.
hurrah for now.
Okay. Later.
Okay, ciao.
Yeah.
Ciao.
But yeah,
Guys, don't forget, tomorrow is the roughly 1990th anniversary of Jesus Christ's last meal.
Oh yes,
Good
that's
Friday.
right. Let's see. Tomorrow is also April Fool's Day.
Mhm.
That's
Don't put
also
any tricks in the
also,
monster.
yeah.
also tomorrow is mine and Ash's 9 months anniversary.
Yay!
You
Your
ladies, give a
0.75
room.
anniversary.
hmm There you go. 0.75 anniversary. I like that.
5.
Well, an anniversary is a year
Mhm.
a year marker, so 9 months is 0.75.
Yep, makes sense. Makes absolutely perfect sense. But yeah,
You know what? I'm just gonna say this,
Yeah.
Mike and Ash,
Ash, are you listening?
get your butt up here.
yeah,
Mm, say directly to us at this point.
But yeah, while we're waiting,
Right.
I'll tell this crazy story. I was at Dragon Con in Atlanta one year, and I was looking up at the
Hello,
TVs
Ash.
in yeah, hey Ash, I was looking up at the TVs in the I believe it was the Hyatt, and I was looking up at the TVs like there's Days of Our Lives on, and when I look at wait a minute, what is going on here? Why is Days of Our Lives on a Saturday? Oh wait a minute, it's Friday.
I've had Fridays like that.
Ashley,
Yeah.
Joker,
Yep.
you too. I just gotta say, 2 hours early. Happy fucking anniversary, you two. Now get a fucking room and get together for the rest of the night.
Have fun, you guys. You've
All
earned
right,
it.
and
Thank
I think
you.
this is a perfect place to end the show tonight.
Good night,
Hey.
everybody.
All right, let me do the 10-second ending real quick. Hang on.
Bad kids.
All right. Well, anyway, don't forget tomorrow night it's part review and part what we're gonna do trivia or was it a
Trivia. Yeah.
trivia?
We can
That's
do
right.
trivia
Yeah.
this week, yeah.
Yeah, because we do want to try to introduce Tech Talk soon anyway. So
Yeah, and honestly, the thing is, the first tech talk I think we're gonna do, I'll go with next week if that's all right with everyone.
yep, that'll work.
Cool.
And the first tech talk subject is going to be very big and necessary.
Hmm.
Avoiding scams.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Like I fell for.
Well, not necessarily those type of scams, although those are important ones. I'm talking I'm talking like computer repair scams
Yeah.
or stuff like that.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Like in
yeah.
other words, like they're supposed to give you a new part, they put a used part in there instead.
Or your computer is affected by 5,000 pieces of malware.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
What the bullshit?
Yeah, but anyway, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do a part review because I still gotta watch that second episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I've been so tied up, I keep forgetting.
We need to watch that as well.
We haven't
Yeah,
seen
and
either.
of
We need to
course,
get caught up.
Friday. Now I'm gonna remember this for sure. It is Among Us this Friday because we are going to do a test run on the new, really large airship map.
And I
Woo.
would say it is absolutely fucking huge.
I know.
Also, I'm gonna take the time to figure out how I could start hosting them because I haven't been able to yet.
Oh, okay.
But yes, if you haven't seen the trailer for the new airship map, this is
This is much bigger.
amazing.
This is bigger than anything. It probably takes all the other three combined almost.
Nice.
All right,
Combine
so
with a bunch of new stuff too.
I'll let you guys go.
Okay.
Good night, Frodo.
All
Later,
right.
Frodo.
All right. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do. Friday night we're gonna do Among Us, and it's gonna be all about the new airship. So that's gonna be fun. As you see, now here's the good news: if you don't feel like playing the game, remember they do have a free play option where all you have to do
Yeah.
is just work your way around the ship, do various tasks. Nobody gets killed. You get new tasks
You
once you
just
finish, and it's really
it just
helpful.
gives you the option to try tasks that you've never tried out before, and there's a bunch of new ones that I need to
Hmm.
get back into and trying them out. But
Yeah.
it allows you to get used to the map.
Right. That's the
If you
whole idea
all
of
need
free play. That's the whole idea of free play. Nobody gets killed or anything. What you basically do is you work your way around, find everything. I will tell you something. The hardest thing for me so far has to be resetting the breakers. You have to get the seven in a certain order.
Z was having trouble with that
I did
earlier
too.
today.
I was also having trouble with that. And plus, another thing is when you got to pick up the towels and stuff, put in the basket. Sometimes the towel gets too far off the screen, and I can't get it. So I have to stop, start over, stop, start over. And it's like I have to find a way to keep those towels like from getting off the screen, so I can pick it up and put it into that hamper.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That is a challenge. And then of course
Interesting.
there's opening the safe. That was a bit challenging.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, right now, like I said, this is why they invented the free play option. So it's like, so you can get used to the ship, you can do the test, you know what to do, try to figure out where the heck you're going. All right. So anyway, I think it's a good place to say love, peace, and chicken grease. Everybody, have a great night. Sleep well. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow night for review and trivia. So
Night,
good night, everybody.
everyone.